shockwaves in the queer community here in Texas. I'll explain why coming up.
As the country reacts to President Trump's tariff plan, one expert says the effects could be bigger than we think.
One state wants high school students to be as smart as immigrants. Could you pass the test? Find out ahead.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Avery Callens.
And I'm Aaliyah Bordeaux. Wall Street is feeling the effects of President Trump's tariffs, and there are new concerns that will have negative impacts on Americans. The stock market fell today after the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the administration's policies have created a lot of uncertainty and will probably drive up prices once again.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
The World Trade Organization is predicting less expansion of the global GDP this year due to the trade war.
A new survey shows Americans haven't been this anxious about being unemployed since the beginning of the 2020 COVID pandemic. For graduating seniors who are jumping into the job hunt, economists say that there are sectors that are more steady than others. CNN's Karen Kaifa is in Washington with more.
The U.S. labor market has been resilient and robust, riding a more than 4-year streak of employment gains through March. But an increasing number of Americans feel that's going to change. Consumers surveyed by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York in March put a 44% probability on U.S. unemployment climbing higher within the next year. That's the highest level since April 2020, the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's another recent reading that points to consumer pessimism amid economic confusion.
Uncertainty is always going to make it difficult to even digest information that you do have. And there is a lot of uncertainty around the economic situation right now.
Allison Srivastava, economist with the Indeed Hiring Lab, says the uncertainty impacts businesses too. Companies may not lay workers off, but may hesitate to fill openings, potentially making the job hunt more challenging. Certain sectors, though, are driving forward. Among them, Srivastava says healthcare, legal, and production and manufacturing.
There are some bright spots in the economy, but things are a little bit on hold, and it's a little bit shaky when things are on hold. So planning for the future is difficult.
And for soon-to-be grads, Srivastava sees entry-level opportunities in in-person sectors like pharmacy, food services, and home health care.
That may not be a long-term goal for a lot of graduates. It does allow you to kind of get some experience on your resume until you can kind of figure out what your next steps are.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
To prepare for a layoff, economists recommend focusing on your skills and putting yourself in a good position with your employer, no matter what industry you're in or whether a recession happens.
Avery, it's been busy in the newsroom, but I'm wondering what's happening outside.
You are so right, Aaliyah. Do I need a jacket or an umbrella for this Easter weekend? I don't know. So let's go ahead and take it over to our weather anchor, Faith Webster, for our first look at the weather. Faith?
Thanks, guys. We have absolutely beautiful temperatures right now outside. It's currently 81, feeling like 82 with that wind at a whopping 18 miles per hour. On to tonight, our clear skies are going to remain with our temperatures just dropping a little bit at 77, feeling the exact same way with 13-mile-per-hour winds. Tomorrow, our clouds are going to start to roll in with our temperatures the exact same at 77, feeling a little bit higher at 80 with our wind coming up to 19 miles per hour. Those clouds are going to stick around throughout this week, but I'll have more on that later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Faith. Right now, Texas lawmakers are debating major changes to the state's education system. The most important bill is the school voucher bill. Opponents of the idea filled the state capitol building earlier today. They're against the plan, saying it will give Texas families tax dollars to pull their children out of public school and put them into private school. They say it will harm the public school system. Supporters of the voucher plan say this would give Texans more choices when it comes to their children's education. Some Republicans and all Democrats voted against the bill 2 years ago, but this session that could change. The debate is over, and the bill expected to drag into the early morning hours. Assuming it passes, the Texas House and Senate will have to iron out the differences between their versions of the bill before Governor Abbott can sign it into law.
And there may be other changes coming to Texas schools when it comes to what kind of flags would be allowed to be flown.
ntTV's reporter Titus King is live with more. Titus?
Thanks, guys. That's right. The Texas Senate approved a bill that will limit which flags can be displayed in public school classrooms. The bill was passed in a majority vote of 23-8. Under this bill, only specific flags will be allowed. The U.S. and Texas flags will be allowed, as well as flags representing a college, military branch, or Native American tribe. Opponents call this unfair and say it will ban the pride flag from being displayed in schools. The bill says a school that will violate this law will face $500 in fines a day. The bill will now move to House for consideration. That's all I have for you guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Titus. Bills like that have many people taking an interest in local government issues, and in another state, that interest could soon be required.
Lawmakers in Iowa want to require high school students to pass a civics test before graduating. This test is the same one given to immigrants seeking U.S. citizenship. But
CNN's Ophil Jacobson explains the test isn't going to be as easy as an A for everyone.
I don't think it's right to require more of immigrants than we require of our own students.
Republican Senator Jesse Green says the bill is needed and argues it's common sense.
The questions are pretty fair, they're pretty easy. I think most people would pass in their first try.
We wanted to see if people think the same. So we went to Grays Lake, randomly selected a few questions from the 100-question civics test, and put people to the test.
What is the supreme law of the land?
I couldn't even tell you.
I have no idea.
Declaration of Independence?
The correct answer is the Constitution.
Who is the commander-in-chief of the military?
Donald Trump.
Trump?
Is that Donald Trump?
The president is right.
How many justices are on the Supreme Court?
3.
Is it like 17 or 13?
5.
There are 9 Supreme Court justices.
What did the Declaration of Independence do?
I guess it was supposed to make people feel like they were free.
I'm not for this.
I believe it freed slaves, right?
It declared our independence from Great Britain.
Oh my God.
What is the name of our national anthem?
Our national anthem? The national anthem?
Star Banner Bangle?
Star Spangled Banner.
The correct answer is the Star Spangled Banner. And when asked if students should be expected to know the answers on the test too, people stand divided.
It doesn't hurt to know.
I don't see why they should do that.
I personally do.
No, I don't think they should.
With the talk of passing a civics test, we at ntTV have prepared a few civics questions for you watching to answer.
First up, who is the father of our country?
Next, how many amendments does the Constitution have?
And finally, what is one U.S. territory?
Do you think you can get them all right? We will have the answers for you later in the show.
Hey, are you here for the premiere? Come take a sneak peek with us.
Stop. No.
Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Tonight, we know more about a shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School that happened. According to police reports, the alleged shooter was let in by another student, thus passing school security measures. 17-year-old Tracy Haynes was booked into Dallas County Jail at 9:32 p.m. and is facing a charge of aggravated assault mass shooting with his bail set at $600,000. Multiple law enforcement agencies responded to a call yesterday afternoon where 4 people were hurt. They were between 15 and 18 and were admitted to area hospitals for treatment, according to Dallas Fire Rescue officials, with non-life-threatening injuries. This comes almost a year after a student pulled a similar shooting at the same school.
One of the great strengths at UNT is the opportunity for students to talk about issues. Recently, a group of students gathered to demonstrate their concern for one such issue. ntTV's Marisa Bender has more. Marisa?
Thanks, Aaliyah. That's right. A UNT student organization called Students for Justice in Palestine, also known as SJP, began their rally on the Library Mall. The group marched from the mall into the front of the UNT administration building. The students were showing their support for the people of Palestine and to call on the university to divest itself from investments in companies with business ties to military contractors. The demonstration had about 100 participants from across campus who heard from various speakers. There were no counter-protests and the march was peaceful. The SJP organizers said they would continue to keep their concerns in front of the university community, and we will continue to follow the story as it develops. That's all from me. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Marisa. People are longing for more time outside and hoping for sunshine because spring is in full swing.
Let's find out if we get what we're hoping for. Faith Webster, what's the forecast looking like?
Thanks, guys. Across North Texas, our temperatures are really good over here. 82 in Decatur, 83 even in Bowie, and 82 in Stevensville. Over here we have 80 in Sulphur Springs and even 79 in Paris, looking pretty great. Across the state of Texas, our temperatures are going to start to rise in variety with Abilene at 84, Amarillo at 86, and even El Paso over in 91 today. Across the week, we are going to see those clouds start to roll in that I was talking about earlier. We have 80s, and then our temperatures start to drop this weekend as that rain rolls in with our 81% chance of rain on Saturday. Those temperatures at 68 and our low at 47 on Sunday with that 63% chance of rain. We start our week with some clouds, and then Wednesday we are going to see those showers roll back in. Tonight, our conditions are clear skies and nice, breezy, beautiful temperatures. Not only will it feel amazing, but some colorful auroras might be visible in the northern United States tonight. Due to a strong solar storm, the National Weather Service's Space Weather Prediction Center observed increased activity causing auroras to whirl around Earth's poles. To find out where the northern and southern lights can be seen, head to the Space Weather Prediction Center's Aurora dashboard online. Some of these colorful lights might not be apparent to the naked eye, but sensors in cameras and cell phone cameras can pick them up. That's all from me, and back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Faith. As UNT students near the end of the semester, the Union Program Council is helping them through their stress. They held their annual Bubble Fest this week, and it was bursting with fun. Check it out.
This week, students popped into the Union South Lawn for some fun at UPC's annual Bubble Fest.
It's on the UPC calendar, and it's just where they had bubble tea over there, like Thai tea, jasmine tea I think they had, and I think that's a black tea, I don't know. And then they have bubbles over here.
As final season rolls in, the UPC is looking to take the pressure off of some students' shoulders.
I think it takes a lot of pressure off of the academic aspect of being in university. It brings the community of the university together, and it lets people just like be free and have fun and realize college isn't all about just the academics, but it's about the fun part and the social aspect of it as well.
From soap bubbles to popping boba, this year's Bubble Fest wanted to bring a stronger sense of nostalgia.
Yeah, I would say it's very rewarding getting to interact with the student body and giving back to them.
And while students connect, they're reminded of how important these campus events can be.
I mean, everyone's stressed, everyone's just overwhelmed, so it's probably good to get people to chill out and have fun events because it gets away from everything.
You can find more UPC events by checking out the UNT event calendar online.
If an alien from outer space landed here and asked, what's the coolest thing in Denton, what would you say?
Well, I would tell them about all of our amazing coffee shops that we have here in Denton. And actually, the city is giving you a chance to vote on your favorite. Let's take it over to Andy Scott to see what it's all about. Andy?
Thanks, y'all. If I said take me to your favorite spot in Denton, what comes to mind? Do they have good food? The perfect atmosphere? Whatever it is, it's time to show them some love by nominating them in the annual Best of Denton event. Nominations are underway in more than 200 categories through May 25th. Categories include bars and nightlife, healthcare, real estate, and services from legal assistance to banking. Voting will begin June 13th and take place at bestofdenton.com. There's no purchase necessary to nominate, vote, or win an award. Winners are featured in a special edition of Denton County Magazine and spotlighted throughout the year in the Best of Denton weekly newsletter. The winners and finalists will also be honored at a reception this September. That's all from me. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sandy. Coming up, the latest on the measles outbreak and the one group that's the forefront of everyone's minds, children.
And are you stressed? I know I am. One police department has a unique way to help. We'll tell you about that at UNT's own resource ahead.
But first, we have those answers to the civic questions we brought to you earlier. Let's see if you got the perfect score.
For the first question, who was the father of our country? The answer was George Washington.
The answer to how many amendments does the Constitution have is 27.
Finally, name one U.S. territory. If you said Guam, the Virgin Islands, America's Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, or Puerto Rico, you would be correct.
We'll be right back after this.
I wonder what's on the radio today. I don't know about this. This is not it.
Everything alternative, commercial free. 88.1 Indie.
Here at KNTU, we have two traditional stations, 88.1 Indie and KNTU Jazz. We've also recently launched an internet radio station called Mean Green Hits. If you want to hear more, you can check us out at MediaNorthTexas.com.
That was pretty good.
Are you looking for a fun club with travel opportunities? Dive into the UNT Swim Club. Practicing Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Pole Recreation Center. We accept members at any skill level. For more information, reach out to us at unt.swimclub on Instagram.
A newly reported measles case may be the first area to connect it to the larger outbreak in West Texas. The infection was reported in Rockwall County, about 55 miles southeast of Denton. There are more than 700 known cases nationwide. That has people in most areas in the most affected areas taking new precautions. In El Paso, daycares are doing all they can to ensure that children in their care do not get infected. That includes checking for possible symptoms of measles.
In the morning, we do a daily health check. So when the child comes in, we'll take the temperature, we'll look at moquitos, cough, all of those symptoms. Then that's when we kind of say, oh, something's not right, and we call the parent and we tell them, you know, especially right now with this outbreak, that's where we're at, where we're really trying to tell parents, like, you need to keep your child home, not just to save the life of that one child, but others that are possibly, you know, more vulnerable in their systems.
2 of the 3 people who have died of measles this year have been children. Daycare say they want to make sure that number does not continue to rise.
Nicotine addiction is one of the hardest habits to beat, and while it's still harmful, vaping has been advertised as a healthier alternative. But the American Cancer Society says that using both at the same time can still be just as harmful. In a new study released today, researchers analyzed data from more than 2,600 adult smokers reporting dual use of traditional and e-cigarettes and compared those to people that only use one. They found those that use both are still exposed to the same exact toxins as regular tobacco cigarettes and the same health risk like cardiovascular disease. The CDC says most adults who smoke want to stop, but less than 1 in 10 adults succeed in quitting given a year.
One Minnesota police department has a possum member that helps the community stay stress-free.
CNN's Kristen Mitchell has more.
Don't let this sweet face fool you. Duke's powerful nose is at work.
The 2-year-old lab is a critical incident response dog with the Burnsville Police Department, specially trained to detect cortisol, a stress hormone in people.
He will basically walk into a room and he'll sniff everybody who's in the room, and then he will zero in on that person who's the most stressed. That calls a grounding technique, and he tries to get somebody to sit down and pet him. And eventually he'll lay across their feet.
Duke arrived the day after the tragic deaths of 2 officers and a firefighter paramedic in Burnsville last year.
He came at the right time, but at kind of the wrong time, if that makes even sense, right?
He was there to bring calm when it was needed most.
I honestly think it was a God thing, because I was already planning on being there.
Duke came from Canines for Freedom and Independence, a Texas nonprofit. Like a narcotics dog, he's trained to sniff out stress using sweat and saliva.
It is so much different than the therapy dogs, because these dogs go out in the field. They can go on mental health calls.
Duke responds with Burnsville's behavioral health unit about 12 times a month and spends the rest of his time visiting schools or attending community events.
Sometimes the uniform, sometimes just our presence there, it can be a lot, and having him around kind of diminishes that. It breaks down the barriers of being able to work with somebody who is in crisis.
He's helping officers too.
Hopefully, we can start to slow down and prevent higher levels of suicide, individuals walking away from the job and resigning.
Off duty, Duke's just another member of the Yakovlev family.
The question comes up to why do we need it, and the answer is, well, look at him, like it's fun.
The UNT Police Department has a comfort dog of its own. Her name is Clover, and she is available for belly rubs and ear scratches during her paw office hours. You can stop by on the 2nd floor of the Hurley Administration Building next Wednesday between 3 and 4 p.m.
Jenny is live at the Willis Library, where students are getting ready for a special event. Jenny, what can you tell us about this before it kicks off?
Thanks, Aaliyah. I'm here at the Spark Maker Space of Willis Library, where tonight students will be learning how to create their own model of Lucky the albino squirrel using a 3D printer software. I'm joined here by Emma, the maker running tonight's workshop. Emma, could you tell us a bit about what students can expect from this workshop?
Totally. So yeah, in this workshop, I'll be providing a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own model of Lucky the squirrel on a software called WOMP. It's a 3D modeling software. Yeah, I found it like a year ago on Instagram. It's awesome. It's free. It's web-based and a lot easier than Blender, if you know Blender. It's scary. But yeah, at the end of it, I'll actually be having students sign up for a 3D printer training so they can make their own Lucky come to life and actually print it out. And yeah.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's so awesome. And why do you think that this is important to have events like these on campus?
Yeah, I think it's really important to give students an opportunity to learn and to experiment when they're in college, because it's the best time to do that. And no strings attached. It's free. You can come whenever you want. Hands-on experience, super awesome. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to go make my own Lucky the squirrel. So back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jenny. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and some teams are making major statements.
Plus, the Rangers are on the hunt for another World Series title. Let's get the latest from the sports anchor, Jose Moreno. Jose?
Pandemonium in the world of European soccer, a huge Mavs game tonight with serious implications, and a disappointing losing streak has finally come to an end. All this and more after the break. Don't you dare put your finger on the clicker.
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DatQ Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DatQ Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DatQ's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.datq.org to learn more. DatQ, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
Basketball is heading towards its raging climax as the first stop on the road to the NBA Finals began last night. But first, let's talk about everyone's favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks, who somehow managed to sneak into a play-in spot during an all-time awful campaign, where they will take on the Sacramento Kings tonight in a win-or-go-home matchup. If the Mavs win, they set themselves up with a date against the Memphis Grizzlies for the coveted 8th spot in the playoffs. Last night, the Grizz took on a hot Warriors team as Ja Morant tried his best, but it just wasn't enough as the chef and his butler conquered the day and secured the 7th seed to play against a young upstart Rockets team looking to make their name in the NBA. Over in Europe, it's been a hectic past 2 days in the Champions League. Arsenal pulled off the impossible and ended their UCL quarterfinal curse with a 2-1 win over Real Madrid to secure their spot in the semifinals with a 5-1 aggregate score, and will meet an on-fire Paris Saint-Germain in the semifinals. Inter turned Bayern's European dreams into a nightmare with a shock 2-2 draw to amaze the Bavarian Giants and continue their Cinderella run. But over in Spain, FC Barcelona had an emotional game, scoring 4 unanswered goals after being down 3-1 on aggregate to win this series 5-3. The Barcelona comeback story lives on as they will play against the aforementioned Inter Milan in the semis for a chance at becoming legendary. The UCL semifinals will kick off 2 weeks from now. Finally, some positive news for Rangers fans as their 4-game losing streak has finally come to an end. Last night, the Rangers chucked the Angels into a wood chipper and picked up their first win since being swept in Seattle last weekend. The game was quiet until the 6th inning when Leody Taveras bunted for a hit, stole a base, and scored on a sacrifice fly. That created some momentum as the Rangers scored in each of their last 3 innings to seal a 4-0 victory. Texas hopes to keep this momentum going as they get ready to take on LA again tonight. And fans, don't forget you've got until 11 tonight to claim your free McDouble that comes after every Rangers win. I guess everything is coming up Rangers this time of the year. And that's all for me, guys. Back to you all at the desk.
Thanks, Jose. Avery, it's an exciting time for Denton first responders because they are making history.
That is right, Aaliyah. Our city is now the first in Texas to get an electric fire truck. ntTV's Emma Burns got an up-close look at this new tool called the Volterra.
The city of Denton made Texas history with the debut of the very first electric fire engine.
It's always exciting for the fire department to have something new and being the very first in the state and actually the whole southern region of the U.S. The only other electric fire truck right now is in Gilbert, Arizona.
To celebrate the newest addition to the fire fleet, the Denton community gathered for the traditional push-in ceremony.
Oh, this goes back a long time, back in the 1800s and further, whenever departments would come from all around the area to push in the new fire engine whenever they would put one in service. So a lot of tradition with this.
After giving the truck a quick wipe down, it was finally time to push it back in.
I liked pushing the truck a lot because I got to actually, it felt like, it made me feel really cool.
Wiping down the truck was really fun and pushing it into the thing right there.
To have that many people, again, as I mentioned, that many families here and celebrating this occasion, can't beat it, right? I'm proud of to be the mayor of my hometown, be here in Denton.
Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.